Welcome to episode 4 of the Dank Shrines. Who the hell is this? I am Duddles. Today I am joined by the Pizza Pie tournament, the open tournament Pizza Pie, not bi-weekly, not weekly. We're not going to put a title on it today. But if you guys may know these gentlemen as from the Pylon shows, I think, where they're getting a lot of their notoriety. You may know them individually from the amateur to semi-pro scene, doing tournament organizations, just being involved in the amateur tournaments, etc. But these are friends of mine, and I am really happy to introduce them to you guys. So let's get started. I guess, Colt, you're on the top left. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you.
Howdy, yeah. Thanks for having us, first off. Yeah, I'm Coltarin. Been involved in the amateur Starcraft scene for 6 or 7 years now. I think 2012 was my first year playing. Got involved in casting and organizing after that. Most recently been casting the Testwick Collegiate series, and we'll be casting the next season of that, along with someone. But that's been super fun. Been an awesome. It's been an awesome climb, and the Pizza Pie has been an awesome. It's been awesome to watch it grow and watch everybody start to recognize it more and get people, like Suzanne and Uncommon, all the love and pizzas that they deserve. So it's been super fun. It's been a long ride. I'm looking forward to riding it out till Starcraft 3.
All right. It's gonna be a long ride.
Colt has inside knowledge.
Yeah.
Please let there be a Starcraft 3.
Right.
Sorry.
Amen.
So Shazam, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself, buddy? Where did you get your start? What's why should you be on this show? Why are you affiliated with it?
All right, so I'm Shazam. I was one of those people. I watched Starcraft 1 and I played very little of it, and then Starcraft 2 came out and I was like, oh boy, an easy Starcraft 1. So now I can actually play and not be trash at it. And so I started right at the beginning. I really pretty much played by myself until Heart of the Swarms and Clans came out, and I sort of found my way into different clans, organizations. And one of the joys that I always had doing stuff in those organizations is running tournaments. That's always sort of been my jam. So I've been running tournaments. Internal, small, just team tournaments, and then sort of wanted to also expand and do, outside tournaments, tournaments for everyone. And so in 2016, we were talking with some friends, and we wanted to sort of differentiate ourselves from all the other tournaments out there. And I forget who it is, and I really should try to dig it up and find credit, because I don't believe it was me at first, but someone jokingly said that a prize for a tournament should be a pizza. And we have taken that to what it is today.
Right on. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Uncommon, the only person who I've ever seen out-punch me at any sort of event, the punching bag things, but only by 2 points. There will be a rematch. But anyway, we'll get to that later. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Hi, I'm Uncommon. I'm Casey. Let's see. StarCraft for me was... I don't think I dove right into it as hard as Tom did, maybe in the beginning of StarCraft 2. But I did, childhood StarCraft 1. Definitely the demo. Played a lot of the demo over and over and over. Couldn't really, never got my hands on the physical game until high school. But I'm old, I guess. That's me being old. 33 years old last year.
Oh my God, you're older than me. This is amazing. This is the best day of my life. Well, actually, you're the second guest on here who's been older than me, but feels good.
I wear it well.
You do,
but
you're only like a year older than me, but still, I'm gonna take it.
The when things got serious, though, it was about 4 years ago when I decided that I was going to commit the time to get better at StarCraft. I've always wanted to. I've never been able to fully take the dive, so I started what was called Into the Forge. It was a once-a-day episode on YouTube where I played a game of StarCraft and I analyzed it. And I started in Silver, and 8 months later, I was in Diamond, and I was sick and tired of Terran, so I switched over to Zerg. The life of me. But after a while, you play those games, you get involved in the right communities, and I found myself in the Chobo Team League. I found myself administering the Chobo Team League for a short period of time there with Coltarin, moving through Guns and Roaches, before finally landing before finally landing at All In. And the wonderful thing about All In is there's a whole bunch of people there who are just trying to make great things in StarCraft. So I found my rhythm casting. I found it playing and casting and casting all the great tournaments that All In does. And I think my involvement in the Pizza Pie really started by purchasing Shazam Poof's friendship. Purchasing his friendship. I said, this is a guy I want to hang out with. I'm going to force this to happen. So I bought him Overwatch, and it's just been true love ever since.
I'll neither confirm nor deny.
So wait, so he became friends with you after you bought him Overwatch. He didn't bail?
I didn't know him. I had no idea.
No. Okay. So, and I don't even know if Colt. I think Colt was part of the joke because I had a habit of this is when I was one of the people who founded Lit Esports when we moved from Confederation, right?
Oh, no.
And so in Lit Esports we were running some of these tournaments, and I had a habit of there'd be a prize pool, and I'd come in the position of right before there were any prizes. And so there'd be certain times where there'd be other tournaments and games that I didn't really play, but I'd help out. They need one extra guy to make it a 16-man tournament. And so I'd be like, sure, why the heck not? And so it was Hearthstone. And the way that the Hearthstone was set up, or the Hearthstone tournament was set up, it was like you needed 3 decks, because I forget exactly how it was, but you needed 3 decks. And then the finals was a best of 5. So you needed potentially 5 decks. And so I enter the tournament. I quickly build 3 decks, and because I expected to be out. Maybe I get lucky and win once, but I made it all the way through the tournament, got into the finals, then had to put the tournament on hold while it's being casted to make more decks. Oh, actually, no, I did that even in the middle of the finals because I was expecting just to get wiped. We made it to the last game. I lost, didn't get Overwatch. I was fighting for a copy of Overwatch, and the guy already had a copy of Overwatch. And so he just took a $10 GameStop gift card. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So then I go into another chapter where Uncommon just happens to be, and I'm complaining just like I am now about how I wasn't even supposed to be there. But since I was there, I was bummed that I didn't get Overwatch. And so then Uncommon buys it for me. I didn't want him to do that because I had no idea who he was. He was just some random guy. He was like, I'll buy you it. I'll buy you this, full price game. And then I was like, no, I don't want it. And I believe it was Colt. I was like, I'll take it. But Colt didn't have a computer that could play it. And so then, it came to the point where Casey was like, well, I have this game now. And I have this code and it needs to go somewhere. And then that's how I met Casey.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How did you so Colt and Uncommon, did you guys meet in CTL? Is that how y'all met?
Oh yeah, I believe so.
I think so. Yeah.
We were admin team, and what we were doing is about once a week for the Chobo Team League, we were running the this talk show. And I think it was at first you and Polar. Chobo Weekly, yeah. I think it was Polar and Colt for a while, and then I got brought in and interviewed because of my work on Into the Forge. And then it just kind of spiraled out there. We were playing hangout games every Friday for a while there on the Chobo Team League, and we just spent a lot of time together playing, arcade games and Phantom modes.
Yeah, well, that's still going on.
That was so long ago.
It is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was actually really nice. You guys invited me recently. I think.
Two. There was a lot of screaming that night.
There always is. And if you ever play, if anyone watching plays Phantom mode and gets Uncommon, he's always the Phantom every time.
Every
He'll
time,
never lie to you.
Just kill him right away.
To his credit, he will never lie. He will never lie to your face. He will tell you as much. If you ask him something, he will not lie.
Let me give some context here, and to Duddles and to the audience. We've been playing this Phantom mode game for 2+ years. We have developed our own internal meta. And so Duddles shows up to play, and it's this game of mafias, right? So you don't know who the bad guy is, you don't know who the good guys are. And Duddles brings some really good logic to the game. He's making sense, he's making good calls, but it doesn't match our 2 years worth of meta. And so it's just this shouting match between 8 people and Duddles, and it was good. And at the end of it, we got an invite to hang out with you.
my favorite part was when Shazam killed me because I was acting like really normal. I was like building regular units and just like playing StarCraft, and he was like, "This is super suspicious. It's Duddles, guys."
No, you were just too close.
I've actually seen a game where somebody killed somebody because they were under building. They're like, he has to be the Phantom. He doesn't have nearly enough stuff, so they killed him. So then everybody thinks that guy was the Phantom, and he wasn't. It was just like,
it spirals out of control.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's
real quick.
really good game.
It's great.
So when is the Pizza Pie Phantom tournament coming up? When is that?
Oh man.
So what I will say is that we're doing things differently this year. So there is a break in the middle. We might throw. Who knows? Why not?
Right.
This that idea could have just been born here. Like
So honestly, I have my really, really good recommendation, which I'm totally stealing from Andy Man and Proxy Tempest. But he has the if you're familiar with Proxy Tempest, they do that open weekly Platinum Diamond. So the winner of that gets submitted into like the Tournament of Champions at the end of the season, whatever. I think it's like after 8 or something, so they can have a good bracket. So then they have that Tuesday, instead of doing the regular open, they actually have like it's kind of like a grand finals of that particular season. So the grand finals of the Pizza Pie Weekly is actually just an 8-man. Pizza
16.
Pie by somewhat weekly. Is or yeah, like whatever, however many people you want to get in Phantom mode, that would be just like, and the winner of that gets an extra pizza or something. Like,
so one of the things we are changing up this year, just to make everything slightly more pizza related and to put pizza in front of as many words as we can. And so what we're doing is, so we used to just do a tournament every other week, and then we changed it to weekly. And now we're switching back to bi-weekly, but we're running 10 tournament segments. So the first 9 tournaments will be, just your regular tournaments. And then the 10th tournament will be that season finale. And during those 9 tournaments, where you finish in the bracket earns you pizza points. And the season finale is open to everyone, but there's only 16 spots. So what I mean by that is that, let's say, there's the 16 people with the most pizza points. It's not just open to them. Let's say, a couple of those guys can't make it. If you have, 50 pizza points, you could still maybe grab a spot if all the people above you don't show up. So that way we're not sort of, stunting the bracket, so that way we can't have a full nice tournament. But we're sort of giving the people who play in it every weekend, maybe even if you don't win. But that season finale, one of the other things that we're doing is we're adding at minimum a $10 Matcherino prize pool with it, just to sort of spice things up for this year. But that season finale has at minimum $250 on the line. So not only playing for a pizza, you're playing for a whole bunch of money that you can buy pizza with. So it's, we do have, because there was the one sort of thing, it was nice, but there was just, it was just on and on and on. And there was no sort of like ending, crescendo to the amount of calories that Starkiller and others are ingesting. So this is, sort of how we're doing it this year. So yeah. We're excited for it.
So I'm happy you bring up Starkiller. So that's one thing that I've heard. I personally haven't been able to watch very. It's just the timing. I'm as weird as I am being an NA guy. I can't really watch NA tournaments very often, just because that's when I'm home, baby, whatever. I think I understand. So I'm usually more affiliated with EU stuff, just because that's a better timing. I can watch it while I'm totally procrastinating at work or something. Not But it's so a little out of the loop, and I'm aware of it, and when I drive to work, I listen to whatever the latest week's Pylon show is, and I always get a kick out of how much they enjoy your tournament, just because I know you guys at least a little bit, and B, it's just like it's a freaking great idea for a tournament. It's super cool. But so some people like Starkiller, who is actually the most down to earth, coolest, semi pro. Is that what you'd call him?
Yeah, he's won a lot of pizzas.
He makes money playing StarCraft.
He's a pizza.
I don't think it's his job, but I know that he gets it.
No, he's a student. I've seen him. It's funny. I've seen him from little high school Starkiller to like college Starkiller. I can't wait till he graduates college, and I'm going to go to his graduation. I'm so good. I'm going to be clapping with his parents and then hand him some pizza with his diploma. Yeah. But no, yeah.
The great...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. The great thing about Starkiller, and he 20 pizzas is where he's at right now.
20 pizzas?
20 wins. And he's great at the game. But it's not like he's undefeatable. He's just consistent. He's at every single pizza tournament. You can't win if you don't play.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think this really brings up a bigger issue with us, expanding the tournament. We set out to solve the problem of StarCraft player starvation, but now, are we causing StarCraft player obesity? Are we the problem?
Oh,
We got to keep that in mind as we expand this. We got to, with great power comes great responsibility. And we're just saying.
Honestly, I think the best thing to do is when Starkiller, if he has health insurance, because he's a student, like he might have it through school, and that barely counts.
Yeah.
So when he goes to the doctor and he has a bill, he can play another tournament with you guys and have you guys try to at least pay a portion of that bill to him. I guess that's where that $250 would come in. To get those cholesterol tests and everything. Those labs are expensive, man. It's not cheap.
They are.
Cholesterol tests and those lipid testing and all that nonsense. So besides Starkiller, who is the coolest? Like, who is a professional player or anything like that, big name that's come in that have really kind of made you guys a little giddy that was in the tournament? Has that happened before?
Future always is a fun person to watch, especially he won Cheeseadelphia, right?
Yep. He beat
So he wins
football people, right?
Yeah. See.
Beat Special, knocks out some amazing people, and then we get to watch the pylon where they talk about his win, and they just can't stop talking about his pizzas. So,
right.
Anybody that brings back, pizza publicity.
Right.
Yeah. No. It's good. There's no I will say, and this is one of the things that when we were talking to In Control at a BlizzCon, it's we don't get Maru doesn't come to our tournament or anything like that, but we sort of have like this, and it is almost like that weird college kid niche who's like, I'll play for a pizza. You got Riser, you got Starkiller, all those guys sort of competing for it. So it definitely has its own little player set, if you will. I'm not sure if anyone's. I always get giddy when Starkiller shows up because I'm like, ooh, can anybody beat him this week? But I will say there was just even sort of just like getting to sort of know the players better. Like even Mick Monroe, like unfortunately, like he's not. He's currently working on Sundays, but apparently they don't pay him in pizza, so I don't know why he's going to work and not doing this. But it's weird. But like even like when we were talking about restarting the thing back up, like it was almost kind of like a movie where I just like jump into a Discord chat, and he's in there, and then he's like, "You're the pizza guy, right?" And he was like, "Oh man, I love playing in those things." So it really is sort of just like a nice community that's sort of been built around it.
If anybody's watching this on YouTube, Riser says in chat, "I don't eat dinner if I don't win."
Riser's great. He's and of course he's a teammate. He's one of the first. He's one of the at least I say was a teammate. He's fun because people will start recognizing that name, and he was kind of that first player we realized that like Pig knew who he was. In Control knew who he was. He was starting to stand out, and he was getting recognized secondary through pizza. And I love having him on the tournament, but I'm gonna tell on him right now. I'm gonna shame him. He won't play if Starkiller's in the tournament. He's like, nope, not doing it, not today. Him and sometimes Future too. He'll bow. Not every time, but he's definitely bowed out more than once. He's like, no, I'm good.
Yep. Yeah, I've messaged him. I've messaged him a couple times, being like, "Hey man, there's only like 5 people signed up today. Only got to win 2 best of 3s, and we'll feed you." And he's like, "Oh, Starkiller signed up. I'm good. I'm just gonna go take a nap." I'm like,
You know,
all right, dude.
that's actually something that's kind of common in, I think, in some, like, if you're making an amateur tournament scene and you put money
Yeah.
into it, somebody will sign up for it and they won't even show. I had in one of my first big open, like, where GM available, I put like $40 into it or something, doubles tournament. And it's the first time I was actually speaking to at least semi-professional players ever. It was really galling. Half the people, I think I had like 3 or 4 GMs who were kind of regulars in the tournament. They'd win like $20, whatever. But this is like the first time I really heavily advertise it. And Soul shows up, and but he doesn't even play. He just signs up, and I had 4 people drop out right away. And I was like, no, like, guys, I looked at his tournament. He's signed up for like 12 tournaments that day. He just saw if there was a dollar sign by it. The guy just pressed sign up. You know, like, and nothing against Soul. He's a super nice guy, but I was like, this doesn't necessarily mean that he is. There's a couple other people too. So I think Future actually ended up winning that one, or Starkiller. One of them ended up being Future versus Starkiller.
Yeah.
But anyway, that aside, it's kind of weird how that works sometimes. Where, you know, I think people just play. Riser, you're here, play.
Right.
You're not going to learn how to beat Starkiller by avoiding him.
Yeah, and like even if you're not Riser, you know, like I still think there's a lot of not only value in improving as a player, but also it's just fun. You know, just playing in that type of environment, especially if you're casted. You know, it's just a unique experience. You know, I definitely encourage anyone who's been scared or gets scared away because it's an open tournament and they're only diamond. You know, just go in and do it and have fun.
It's free replays, but the thing that we should start doing is we should start paying players to specifically come up with builds just to beat Starkiller, and then just interjecting them into our tournament, and just like.
Just have player bounties where like we'll buy you a small pizza if you beat Starkiller. Like,
yeah, you'll get the appetizer. We're just delivering the breadsticks.
You get breadsticks.
For every Starkiller map you take, you get at least one order of breadsticks.
Oh man!
Oh, that's good.
That's actually I love that. I mean, like, it's expensive, I think, at the end of it, but obviously not per map breadsticks, but having a smaller pizza victory for, like, first place gets a large with a drink, second place gets a small, that gets like a, you know, those Domino or I think Pizza Hut with a personal pan pizzas. It's like, yeah, you can only eat this once, but you don't have the leftovers. That
we should start
a personal pan bounty.
Yeah, we should look into just buying grocery store pizza and FedExing it to people. Right. So that almost might be as cheap as some of these pizzas.
Yeah, right. It's like, it may be a tombstone, and which is fitting, you know, because it's a bounty. But you'll get a tombstone pizza. It's not quality, but like if you're hungry, it'll feed you. However, it's not going to be edible by the time it gets to you. Because it is a frozen pizza.
But you got
at that point, just buy them like a 7-Eleven gift card and then like write on it like, this is explicitly for the sushi. Like, good luck.
we have had to buy people like convenience store pizza before, right? Because we had no pizza place near them. What do you
there was so when I started this, how I figured out how I was going to do this was as it was happening. Right, like I now in my life have purchased more pizzas for other people than I have myself, and so there was one player, I forget who it was, but he was in a small enough town where the only pizza or the only place that sold pizza in his town was a gas station. And so I worked with him and we got him his pizza, but it definitely wasn't conventional. But yeah, usually there's a Domino's or a Pizza Hut somewhere around. But yeah, so I will say it was interesting the first couple of times before I got it down.
Has everybody who's won, has everybody been in an American? Has there been any out of country things that you've had to do? There
was one. And so there was Gaquiel was Canadian. And so at that time though, before we sort of switched things up, there was, if you didn't want the pizza, one of the things I offered, I was just like, I could PayPal you $5 as well. Because, some people, I definitely understand that, while it's sort of the pizza's the name, but, I'll freely admit that some people will look at that and go, I don't want to play in that because when it comes to the price, I don't want to or I don't want to deal with winning a pizza.
Like, sure,
but so
address with somebody who you don't know, and you know,
correct.
a lot of these people are like 14-year-old kids who could be just really good at the game.
Oh yeah.
And so in that case, he was. I will say I do have like a backup Canadian that like if someone in Canada, wow, Canada wins.
Yeah.
We could potentially try it. I haven't had to do it yet. It's really more
Do you have
U.S.
to get a
focused.
translator for that?
Oh man!
It's like I need a Canadian to help me translate this.
But yeah, and that's so. Yeah, so that's like there's even been some people, you know, where, you know, when it comes to Starkiller, you know, I send pizzas all the time. But like there's, you know, some people when they win the first time, you know, I've had pizza jeez, I can't speak at all.
Jeez, you can't speak at all. More like, am I right, guys?
Who will just
I gotta go.
they want the pizza, they'll go and pick it up. So, you know, I am as flexible as I can be when it comes to, you know, these prices. So there's always, you know, a little twist, a little turn. But at the end, I want to feed StarCraft professional players, pizza professionals. So I'll see to make it happen.
Are they allowed to be considered amateur players now that they've been paid in pizza?
No, they have to pay taxes on their pizzas.
Do they have to now? Honestly, do they have to declare that on tax returns?
No comment. My lawyer will get back to you shortly.
Oh man. So speaking of it,
yeah.
that kind of segues into something else. Have y'all had any like really weird, bizarre, like when it comes to the prize payout, just something where some really big hiccup, or it was just really freaking hard to get this person the prize that they won?
The only time that it got a little bit interesting is I would cheat some of the information. I would enter in my own email address, and for a while I'd enter my own phone number. Until, I want to say it was Panda Bear Me. All of a sudden, I get a call from the pizza guy. And he's like, I can't find the building. And I go, you gotta be kidding me. And so, luckily, Panda Bear Me was still right on Discord, and so he's feeding me the information, giving it to the pizza guy. But that's probably like one of the weirder things that have happened. But like in that case, you know, there's a lot of times where, you know, like Starkiller's never had a problem or anything like that. But usually, you know, if people are comfortable, I'll just grab their phone number, throw it in, so that way if that happens again, it's not like this weird game of telephone. Mm-hmm. That was probably that was probably one of the more interesting things of like, because like the pizza guy is like, why is this so difficult for you? Like, just tell me where you live. And I'm like,
right,
you don't understand. I am thousands of miles away.
Did you not think to like give him the other, like ask, instead of doing that, just getting the other Panda Bear's number? And
after that, that's when that started.
Okay.
I always try to make it as easy as I could for the players, so I'd like, you know, punch in some of my information, you know, just to get the process along. But now I know pretty much what every pizza website needs. There's some pizza websites I like more than others, but yeah. So that's when I started doing that. Just so.
What is your favorite pizza?
Best pizza you've
ever had. Let's just
the best pizza I've ever had. Whew.
Mm-hmm. That question's for all of you.
I will say I am cheating for the question a little bit, but I moved recently. But back where I used to live, there was this place. It was called DeMarco's, and they had a calzone, and it was like for $9 or whatever. But it was like 3 times the size as any other like $9 calzone, and it was like, it was so big, like even when, you know, I didn't care that I was fat, I couldn't eat the whole thing. And so like I had lunch and dinner from the thing. And but even their pizzas were pretty good. But yeah, it was so good.
So I speak from some good experience. I'm gonna tell a small pizza story. It seems appropriate. I don't really cook. And there are definitely periods of my life where I ordered an embarrassing amount of delivery pizza. And there were times when the delivery people knew me. There were times when they would like deliver the pizza and it'd be like 2 larges and some other stuff, and they go, "Hey, where's the party?" And it's just me taking a pizza. I'm like, it's just me. My pizza.
Guys, it's here.
We were like, oh yeah, they're on their way.
They're all in the shower.
Who buys 2 pizzas and a pasta with a bread bowl and breadsticks and 2 sodas? Me.
That's grocery shopping for the week, right?
That's what it was, because I cooked so little that I just bought food for the weekend, and it was $50 Papa John's. But I digress. So I've eaten a lot of pizza. There's a place nearby called Forelli's that does this Manhattan pizza. It's got the really fancy pepperonis. It's got like this honey glaze on it, and they serve whiskey. So, whiskey, pizza. They just do it really well. They do it really well. We go there. Date night. That's our date night.
Nice.
Very nice. Colt, I'm really curious what you say, because you live closer to me. So next time.
So my favorite pizza that I've had is this place called Home Slice.
Okay.
It's a New York style pizza, nice and thin. It's great.
I've actually heard of Home Slice.
Yeah, and here's where I would tell a great story about a bunch of friends introduced me to it, but I was alone one day and was really bored and wanted a pizza, so I drove out there. I walked in and they were like, and I got an extra large pizza, got like a 2-liter drink, and they were like, oh, gonna go see some people, because it was like a few days before New Year's, and I was like, no. I was looking at the outside, I'm like, I'm gonna sit at home, play StarCraft, and eat this pizza, and he's like, okay, dude, have a good night. And that's the most embarrassing but best pizza I've ever eaten in my life.
So for now on,
It's
the
delicious.
answer is just yes, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like
It's okay to lie to strangers. Like,
I'm
no,
really
all right.
excited about it.
I am built on integrity, if nothing else.
oh man.
I'll never lie about my calorie intake. Okay.
I just lie to myself.
Riser says New York pizza sucks. Can we ban this guy?
Yeah. So someone's never allowed to play again.
Okay,
I'm admin. I can make that call. Yeah. No, Riser, you're still in. Please play. Yes. Sorry.
So is there like a limit? Like, because I know there are some pizza places. There's a place across the street from me. It's called Windy City Pizza, and I mean Chicago style pizza is typically way more expensive than New York pizza, just because it's more to it, right? I'm not going to go in the debate of whether it's better or not the New York style, because in my opinion, it's apples and oranges. They're both fruit, but they're not the same. But I mean, like that place, a regular, like I think the cheapest pizza I'd be able to get out of there is like $26. So like, are these players allowed to just like pick whatever the hell they want? Is there a limit to it?
No, so yeah, and so that's always like whenever the pylon gets a new guest, that's always their question. And even like in the last pylon show, like In Control was talking about it, like he was like, Todd, you don't understand. There's like paragraphs about this, which there might be a couple. But it essentially it's we will be, I of course will always be as flexible as I possibly can be, but it really is just when it comes down, it's like the change, like Domino's, Papa John's, Pizza Hut, places like that. So it's like, as much as I wish I could give, these StarCraft players like gourmet pizza, one slice is $50. No, it's more, and if it, and let's say if you don't have like one of those, nationwide chains around you, like if you have a place that's, comparable in every which way, I'm not going to say, screw you, I'm not doing it, as long as it's sort of in that range, I'm flexible with, figuring it out and getting you your delicious prize.
Cool. I'm probably gonna go to Windy City after this. I'm just saying. I'm really excited about eating some pizza.
I waited all morning for those 2 pieces of pizza that I saved from last night when I had pizza.
Awesome. So I'm gonna veer it off a little bit.
Okay.
So I know you guys have all been involved in other organizations as well. I know, and you all talked about it a little bit in your introductions. But do you have any stories to share? Just in something that may have happened recently, or something most memorable? Whenever you're organizing a tournament, it could even be the pizza pie tournament. But what has been the most memorable moment to you in these tournaments? Or and you can take a minute. We can have some awkward silence here for a second. But whoever wants to pipe up,
That's my favorite.
Yeah, in the pizza pie specifically, or in any tournament that we've ran?
Because I just getting to know you guys, because y'all aren't just pizza pie people, right? Y'all also have other things that you do. So it could be whatever. Just as there's like a certain tournament moment that you're like, this is the best. And Colt, I'm going to answer you just for
the best. Okay.
Yeah. So for you, it was obviously whenever you casted the Avalo versus the real Avalo game, which is the only reason everyone knows who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
100% of your credit to it.
Exactly, which people in Twitch chat take every opportunity to remind me of, and it's like, yeah, I admit,
I have to give him more credit than that. I'm going to step in here and defend him, because you're right. He had a moment.
Right. I'm totally just pulling his leg.
But no. Oh,
no,
I get it. I get it. You're right. Your Duddles, it's great. But this moment right here has lived on Twitter and social media, and he is, I would say, harassing everybody he can. He's like, "Hey, what you got? I want to cast something. Hey, how you doing? I want to hang out." We went to DreamHack Austin together, and we couldn't hang out because every single moment he was like trying to find a way to talk to like Rifkin or Fear Dragon. He was following their tweets, and we were moving around bars trying to find this guy. He is a monster.
They were like, "Why are you on this stage? Who are you? Get off!" So close.
And to be fair, you guys even found me, which is, I am hard to get a hold of. It was.
Yeah, we had to call your agent. It was a whole thing, man. Yeah. That actually does tie into my favorite tournament moment. Was at DreamHack Austin. I was standing by the player area because I was waiting for somebody. And Carrie LaRose, the head of WCS Challenger, comes up to me like from behind and like taps me on the shoulder and is like, "Hey, Kellen, how's it going?" And like knew me by name and like shook my hand and then like watched.
I don't even know your name.
Just, like chatted, and I was like, "Whoa!" I knew who he was because like I'd been chasing after him to try and get permission to cast WCS Challenger for months, and then like that happened, and that was just really surreal that it all happened because of that one series, pretty much. That one series.
And that's how you got banned from WCS for life. And
exactly.
That's why.
Because I didn't say the end of that sentence. It was like, "Oh, hey, are you Kellen? Get the hell out!" Like that way. See ya.
Oh, that's good.
Which is that "get out" is pretty Texan. I mean, it's like, oh yeah, what's up? You can get out.
You can get on out of here.
Okay, so who's next? Any other stories you guys want to tell? Hit me.
Let's see. To compare there to Cole, I know Fear Dragon knows who I am, and that feels good.
Yeah. Nobody knows. This is like all these. Oh, people know who you are. Like you guys are just rubbing it in my face right now. It's
don't get me wrong. I've talked to Pig like 3 times. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever seen like a glint of recognition. He's a busy man. Like who am I? Right. These guys meet hundreds of people.
Well, yeah, because everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's Pig," and he's like, "Oh hi, 28,000 person today." It's like I've met every person at BlizzCon because everybody loves me because I'm Pig.
But I got to give him a legitimate amount of credit because he'll be talking to people, and he's got to go. But somebody comes up and he will engage in a really good long discussion, and there are agents like, "Hey, Pig, you got to come on."
They're lassoing him and.
Right, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'll be right there," and he's engaging with everyone, and not cheap conversation. He's really thoroughly happy to talk to people. We were there at BlizzCon, and someone physically had to like pull him away, like, "We got to go, Pig, come on."
Yeah, and he's just like, "No."
Right.
I don't want to
go.
No. Good. That's. I mean, really, my biggest moments come from
getting yourself into the Pylon Discord.
Getting my there it is. So the Pylon's early in its life, and this is actually I'm the blame for the meme. And let me give you the background. I guess is I joined All In as an officer.
Wait, hold on. Do you want to tell the story? Well, they might kick you. Are they going to kick you out of this chat now if they know the truth?
Oh no, I think
I think at this point, I think you guys are not untouchable, but like y'all are kind of a fan favorite of like the people who spam pylon chat with what's going on in the week. I think y'all are fine.
So my position in All In is well, right now it's management, but it's kind of that, like, I do some merchandising, I cast some tournaments. I'm low level guy, right? But I see this thing for the pylon, and the pylon saying, "Hey, we're doing this week in Starcraft. If you have anything going on, let me know." And I said, "That's perfect. I want to talk. I want to get in that. I want to get in that Discord, and I want to promote All In stuff." And I messaged Cobra on Twitter. I'm like, "Hey," and I had to stop and think about it. I'm like, "Who the fuck am I again?" Okay, I'm in the management of All In, and we run tournaments. And suddenly, I mean, like, taking credit for way more than I do, as if I am your the window into the soul of All In.
It's the Starcraft caster way.
Starcraft caster way. And yeah, of course, I asked for forgiveness later with the rest of the team, but I got let into the pylon channel. I look at it, and this very specific channel that content creators are allowed in, and I'm looking up and down the list of everybody. It's like me, Nathanius, Rotterdam, In Control, Pig. I'm like, oh, why the fuck not?
My dog was pretty upset when I tried to include myself in there, but I am in the chat. I'm not.
Yeah, no. And so, I don't think they really meant, and I think they even said right after that, they said, hey, if you're doing something weekly in StarCraft, they said, we don't really care about the, once a week, $2 tournaments. So I said, fuck it, we're Pizza Pie. And I started putting in every week, and they started talking about it. And we were just this, in the list of these big names, these big tournaments coming down, Zombie Grubs hosting her Banshee tournament, and then Pizza. I gotta thank the producers for being consistent about letting me into that little space, and we were in just long enough where it became funny. And now you're right. Now I think we're good. We're good.
Now we're actually like a tournament that people respect. Like,
why not?
Yeah, I remember there being a week on the Pylon show where In Control was talking about how they needed to cut down on the time This Week in StarCraft was taking. He's like, that means we might not mention the pizza tournament every week. And immediately the chat was like, no, absolutely not. You will tell us about the pizza and you will like it. Like, it was immediate and vicious.
Oh man, we were such small potatoes.
Yeah.
In the things that were being posted there.
Oh yeah, it's like IEM qualifiers are opening today, and GSL qualifiers are just announced, and I guess you can win a pizza. All right, and then WCS Austin coming right up, and Zombie Grub hosting this. It's like, we made it.
This is a nice $8,000 tournament, and here they'll deliver Domino's $6 pizza right to your front door.
But yes, I've always been more in like the background, like, and that's one of the things that like I'll joke about with Uncommon, because so when it comes to the three of us, there's people will definitely recognize Colt and Uncommon before they recognize me, and that's sort of by design. Like I've always, I'm always the spreadsheet guy. Like I do all the work in the background and everything like that. And so like when it comes to like moments like that, like I didn't really ever think of like having anything like that. And that's really where you sort of the best the best sort of teams, it's not that they, all shine at the same thing. They complement each other's weaknesses. Whereas, like even when Uncommon said that he got in that chat, he didn't tell me that our tournament probably shouldn't have been there, because he was already set that the tournament was going in there, and he knew that if I knew all the other stuff that was in that chat, I would have said, don't do it, don't ruffle any feathers or anything. And sometimes, it just works out into whatever the heck this is. So yeah, it's always sort of, when it comes to, getting sort of a team together like we have. It's, we have a couple of, different personalities that, sort of meld well together to sort of make this into this monstrosity that we have. But yeah, when it comes to like, see, I don't know, like we even mentioned it before this, but like even if it was just some guy named Artosis who took the $10 out of his life to make myself feel good that Artosis donated to the tournament, like I'm over here telling my girlfriend about it, like she gives, two craps. Like that's how excited that makes me. It's like, back, forever ago, like I've been watching Tasteless Artosis, and even when I was at BlizzCon, I was like, these are all the people that I watch all the time, and it was like my first time at like a real live event, and like if I could tell, myself 10 years ago that like, by 20 degrees you'll be somewhat, working with Artosis on a project, I probably would have peed myself, and I still did today. It's one of those things where I just see it. I'm like, we're like, I've seen the 50 cents roll in, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, we got a whole bunch of people to donate, and we're up $10, and I scroll down, I'm like, that's Artosis. And then like in the back of my mind, since we've all been on the internet so long, I was like, somebody just made an account that was Artosis, and I was like, I'm not gonna believe that that's Artosis. And then this is my life. So even though it was like like 2 days ago, that's still probably the coolest thing.
And you would be surprised though at some of these people who you just kind of like, and I love that you bring up that your girlfriend, as if she cares, because I remember whenever I came up with this show, it was actually 4th of July. I was out with my family, and I was like hanging out with my mom and my wife, and they were, I was talking, I was like, cool, oh my god, like I just got dank, like I put out this idea on Twitter, and Toast was like, came to me, he's like, hey man, put it on Dank Shrine, and then we made it solid, and I was like, I just got Dank Shrine. I was like freaking out. It was so cool for me. And she was like, what the fuck is that? Like,
you don't understand.
And I was like, it's a big deal. Like 20 people watch this show sometimes. Like it's really exciting for me. But no, I was just really happy that my whatever, and it was so good. Yeah. But back to the original point, these people who we kind of like worship, right? Almost they're just put on a pedestal. They're regular freaking people. I met Rifkin at DreamHack Austin, and he came up to me and he was just like, "Oh my god, you're Duddles!" Like I was expecting. He thought that I was from the UK because I have a warty presence. But like how realistic these people actually are, and then they'll come to me and say, "Hey, I watched your show," and I'm like, "You watched my show?" Like I'm almost embarrassed. But these people actually, they just may not hop in chat because it's annoying to them to have people be like, oh my god, now I'm gonna get added for 15 minutes,
right,
and the Twitch chat's gonna suddenly become about like Rifkin or something, or somebody else maybe join the chat. But like they're all really cool. Like I 100% would not be surprised if the amount that Artosis talks about it, that he would go check it out and be like, screw it, like you give me a laugh every single week, let me throw you $10 just because I love this idea. It's not unrealistic. So if anything, it's actually probably likely.
Yeah. To your point, like those, like all the people who I've had the privilege of meeting either in real life or like on Discord or whatever, like every single one of them has been so supportive of like anybody, like even even on the stream, like I subscribed to Vibe the other day, and like somebody who was a mod, I think like Sea of Whiskey had been in my chat and like said like, oh hey, what's up, Colt? And then I was like, oh, you're a streamer? Awesome, man. I'll look out for you and like throw you a host next time I see you around. And it's like all of them is like will offer similar things like to really anybody who asks. Like it's really awesome how supportive the Starcraft community is, because I think it comes from a place of where before everybody was sticking in Starcraft because it's like, if we don't, then this game is kind of might be over. But then now it's like, we're growing again, and then but we still have that inner stream community, which I think is really cool to see, and really doesn't happen in many other games.
Yeah,
like, especially for the big streamers, like League of Legends, like Double Lift goes offline. He doesn't host anybody. Maybe his teammate.
Right.
Like,
people have those things where you can hop into a stream and they're like if they actually reward you with points to idle in their stream when they're even offline because they get money from that. Or something. I don't really know how that works. I've never been partnered.
Yeah.
But
it's like
I know someone who has been.
Who has been?
Actually, I don't even.
I'm not. No,
I'm affiliated.
Oh,
I'm not a partner.
Cool. Yeah.
oh, you're not. Oh,
I did. Admittedly, I did apply after the Avilo
Okay.
because everybody in chat kept spamming me to do it, and I was like, I'm not gonna get it. I'm not gonna get it. And they were like, you should apply. You should apply. And I'm like,
I just.
all right, I'll apply. Like,
That was my own fantasy world. I'll still assume that you are. You know,
hey, thank you.
it's all about what I think is true.
It came
We're
down to
all
like
partners together in the pizza.
Exactly.
we are. I mean, honestly, hey.
differently.
Colt's success is our success. Colt goes on, he casts Tespa. We got a 300-person raid in the middle of the finals of last pizza.
Oh yeah,
That's
that
fantastic.
was pretty cool. And that's tying back to that point about how it's almost like Starcraft. It's one organism, right? It's not just a bunch of different things. It's all one body.
Yeah, it all
But,
comes
yeah.
full circle, very similar to a pizza, if you will. Starcraft
Yeah, but-
is just a cheesy, gooey,
Nailed it.
delicious round pizza, and that's the inspiration to the tournament, in my opinion.
Yeah, the all inspiration for the tournament. Yeah, all the inspiration.
Yeah.
Why did I agree to do this?
Hey, you guys are all right, I guess. What's weird is that I actually have more of a bitterness towards Born Gosu, who was my favorite non-formal Sparaslaus team in the CTL community up until the finals that one time.
Oh.
Cool. Formal Sparaslaus has 12 members on the roster. We're going to go ahead and use our 800 member roster to put in whoever we know and just counter you guys based on who you put it. Thanks. Yeah, still bitter.
I have a one-word response.
Scoreboard.
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't think we had any Born Gosu members in this chat right now.
You're right. I'm an Infinity Gaming member now, but I was in
He bleeds blue. He bleeds blue.
in the great incident, and whenever I read that in the chat when I read in the chat that it was happening, I just typed yikes. I was like, this cannot end well. Nobody is going to be happy about this.
Now,
like, you're told, he's like, is it against the rules? I'm like, no, but
it's
like
not.
neither, but like technically neither is like hiring.
Murder. There's nothing. about
hiring somebody to
murder.
assault your opponent 2 weeks
Yeah.
after the match, like sure it's illegal, but I didn't write a rule against it, so go ahead, dude.
So,
See that's why I have the compromise integrity rule. It's just like you should always, and I think Artosis talks about this too. You should have just some rule in your tournament that's always like, I can say no. So like if someone goes around and starts like going to somebody's door and then breaking their computer with a bat, you're like, you're out, not you win. It's not like, shoot, I have to give the baseball bat guy a pizza now. Ugh.
right.
Yeah.
Now, in all of CTL's defense, have you ever seen a rule get passed or enforced in that community?
Yes.
Yeah, we got
pulling
two.
teeth.
Yeah, we got two admin. Oh wait, I don't know where you. Yeah, they're kind of like
Yeah, I
there.
was an admin too. Yeah, I think all.
Oh, you were?
Three.
Oh, wow.
Oh, all I know is that there are 4 people in this chat, and 3 of them are idiots. Because I got nominated a whole bunch, but I was smart enough to say no.
I had been in the community for like 2 months, and I posted an Into the Forge video about my match. I got an interview on the weekly, and they said, "Why don't you be an admin?" I had no idea what I was getting into. I was like, "Yeah, that sounds like fine. Let's do that."
Right.
Yeah.
I saw some good rules passed, and then I saw some really good rules just get shit on.
Yeah.
The thing about being an admin, and you two can echo this, I'm sure, is no one gives a shit about the hard work you put in to make that monstrosity of a league stay alive. And it, honestly, I give credit to TB Ham at the moment for everything he puts up with and does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, he's the best Zelda player I've ever seen compete in CTL. The guy doesn't even play StarCraft. Like
Nope.
Yeah, I like, being an admin for the CTL most of the time sucks. Like I've been an admin now, I think like almost 2 calendar years overall,
Ugh.
and like, God, it's just like It's like waking up every morning and you go to work. You work 8 hours. You come back home, and let's say you have a wife who doesn't work. Taking care of the kid, whatever. For whatever reason they don't work, or your significant other doesn't work, and you come home and it's like, hey, brought home some groceries. Maintained the car, filled it up with gas, and then she kicks you in the balls. And she throws you on the ground and is like, screw you, you suck. And it's like, what did I do? The league should be best of 3. It's like, oh my god. Oh my god. Are you kidding me right now? We're doing this now. Right. 6 weeks into the season.
I always felt it was more like your wife kicks you in the balls and is all like, I said get name brand because it's cheaper. And then your daughter punches you in the face for even considering getting name brand. And then all of a sudden, then they argue for 45 minutes, and whenever you ask them to please be quiet because the neighbors are trying to sleep, then it turns on you again, and you get kicked in the balls even more. That's what being an admin in CTL is really like. It's just constant kicks to the balls, and
that's why I'm the smart one.
Right. And see, the only reason one of the main reasons I've stayed is because the one time I was like, all right, I'm gonna step down from being an admin, wash my hands of this, I'm done. Every single other admin left, and I was the only one left. I was like, "Oh, great!" I was like, "I'm gonna leave in 2 weeks, but I'm not gonna announce it yet because I'm not positive." And then Tech 4 announced, and then everyone else, and then it was me, Uncommon, and Uncommon was like, "I think this is a good time for us to reset," and I was like, "Okay." All right, let's do it. Yeah. No, I don't mean that at all as a slight to.
Oh no, I was done. I was sick and tired of it.
That season was the worst season I have ever been a part of in terms of quality of life for the admins. It was terrible.
Have you guys ever banned a whole team in CTL before?
Oh yeah,
yes.
Especially one that's been around since the inception almost.
I feel like you're just asking for us to talk about a team very specific in your head.
No, I'm not, because that team's actually totally fine now. I have no. They're back in CTL, and I have not heard an ounce of drama.
See, I'm so disconnected from it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you're talking about, and I'm totally happy with that. I have my pizzas, I eat them, I watch them. And that's my heaven.
Right.
Yep.
My own little slice of heaven if I want to get into this terrible pun action.
So actually, to bring it a little bit back to CTL, we can always follow up with some other things in a minute, unless you guys have something that was on your mind that you wanted to talk about right now.
What do you got?
So how does somebody A, compete, and B, let's just talk about the nitty gritty stuff, and B, is there a common stream that you guys watch? Is it always on All In's channel? Is it on Common's channel? Where does the actual stream happen? I'll post the Discord link now.
So for the pizza pie, if Colt's able to make it, because he has a busy caster schedule with Tespa, we do it on his stream because we just try to bring in as many people as possible, and he pulls in better numbers than I do. When he's unable to make it, it's on my stream. It's kind of that Tom's letting us self promote while we cast, I would say, which is essentially his tournament. This tournament doesn't exist without him. It's funny that people still message me and they're like, "Hey, I have questions about the pizza pie," as if it's my tournament. I put in a little bit of work, but all of it's really back there at Tom. I think I answered your question.
Yeah, Shazam, and then Ednol also helps out with providing pizzas. I think they traded off every other week this past year.
Yeah, that was the reason it went weekly was because of Edinburgh, because essentially, of course, some things have changed in the new year, and so unfortunately, it doesn't look like his schedule is going to be able to support it. But yeah, so that was one of the biggest concerns or talking points, because Edinburgh was like, "Hey, I want to take over or is it okay if I take over the pizza tournament?" And I was like, "Hey, well, I was actually thinking about doing it again," because Mick Monroe was like, "Hey, you're the pizza guy," and I was like, that made me feel good. And so then we were talking about it back and forth, and then we were like, why don't we just do it every week? And so then it would be the same amount of money out of my pocket, but more pizzas for everybody. And so that's why we went to that weekly format, and then had the big name fiasco, because I never ever thought when I started it in 2016 that I would ever get anywhere, and that I'd ever be able to afford more than one pizza every other week. But yeah, so unfortunately he couldn't be here today, but yeah.
and about the who can how do people compete? It's open to
Oh,
anybody.
yeah.
Everybody can compete. We do get the Starkiller, the future that'll sign up, and yeah, they're generally expected to win when they sign up. But we still had some really fun series of people who haven't been at that level or haven't been at a Grandmaster level, even when they're against Starkiller or future. I've seen it in. I've seen a couple of games be surprisingly close in the Pizza Pie, and in Test Pie and in other tournaments. I've seen a diamond with a good build order just stomp
Those
Starkiller
assassin.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I really want to see more people come out and try and play. Especially with this increased prize pool for this next season. There's no reason not to. I mean, worst case, you've wasted a best of 3 against Starkiller, but you get free replays, you get,
pizza points.
It's a fun time.
Pizza points.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is.
Any lobby graced by Starkiller's presence, if you can just keep the oil off of you from all the pizza calories, then it's a great experience.
To directly answer your question, the Discord link you posted is a great place to get all the information on the pizza tournament, and all-inspiration.challenge.com
is where the brackets go up.
Yep.
Hashtag N.
Let me go ahead and post that guy. And we have a tournament coming up, so I see that y'all have a Matcherino as well. How does that work?
Okay.
Well, I know
So-
how Matcherino works, and I think most people here know how Matcherino works.
So that's a host question, right? There's now I don't feel like I'm shamelessly self-promoting on somebody else's channel because the host directly asked me about it. It's a hosting trick, right? So we have that Matcherino page, and one of the best things one of the things that we sort of set up with us moving forward this year is I was actually able to sort of get partnered with Matcherino and to get verified for my tournaments, probably because they watched the pylon and they know who Uncommon is, and I was like, no, it's me, I swear. And so I was able to get partnered with them, set up this tournament, and they gave us some codes in here. I'll post it in the chat. It is this code.
Text it to me because it won't let you. Oh, pizza.
No, just that code. Yeah. Because I don't know if I gave that to you, but so they gave us some codes for the tournament. So if you go to the Matcherino contribution page and sign in and then just put that coupon code in, it'll just donate 50 cents to the tournament, and that really helps. I mean, I would love to have somebody go and try to do it, and they can't because we're out of codes. That is my dream. Second to Artosis sponsor or donating. But yeah, so that is how that Matcherino works, and then all of that money goes right to the winner's pocket.
Okay.
So it's they get a pizza and they get
the
a prize
pool.
Correct.
So
Yes.
Second place is not split. That is all 100% goes to first place.
So the first 9 tournaments, those standard tournaments, those are all winner takes all.
Okay.
The grand finals, that is split up between first, second, and third. Of course, they don't have to split the pizza 3 ways. First gets the pizza, but at minimum, we have what did I say? It was $200. Yeah, $200 for the winner minimum. $40 for second place, and $10 for third place. And then those will increase percentage-wise as we get donations to those tournaments as well, hopefully. So even that's one of the things, if you see, future, you see, Starkiller, and you can't beat them, even if you still play one, who knows, maybe you'll be able to pull off something miraculous. But you're still getting those pizza points, which puts you or makes you eligible to sort of sneak into a spot in that final tournament. Where let's say you can't beat Starkiller, you can't beat Future. There's still even that third place match where you can get some, some funds for your Starcraft wallet.
You can probably beat Riser, so you'll totally. Be
Again, that's also assuming that all can make it on that one very specific day.
Right, and so if you're not playing consistently, and you have some Masters 3 guy, all of a sudden sneak in, he's able to do it. Bam, he's he's winning a ton of money. So you got to make sure you sign up. If you can contribute for free to the Matcherino, that always helps. Puts more money in StarCraft people's wallets, and then you can sort of earn some pizza points for the grand finals or the season finale.
Gotta thank the Matcherino guys for.
Oh yeah,
they put a lot of faith in us with these codes and the donation.
Right. So that's how do you get that? Because I've Riser, I don't forgive you for putting me. I'm just kidding, Riser. You're way better than me. I did not beat you, by the way.
There are in their Discord or on their website. There's a contact portal, and you can either schedule like a meeting with them one-on-one, or just have them reach out to you. You explain pretty much the general concept, and generally it's pretty easy to get it set up, and then they'll have especially if it's a weekly or something with some regularity, generally they'll have some sort of fundraising goals, because obviously they can't just be losing money every week. They want X amount to be raised. Buying rewards through the shop, which you can buy announcer packs for StarCraft, and you can buy shirts, stuff like that. It's super awesome, but it is a privilege. So if people have if you're everyone watching this ever wants to support the Pizza Pie, or support any tournament that has a Matcherino page, if you have a couple extra bucks, buy something off their store, or just donate a little bit of money, because that's literally the lifeblood of those tournaments. I could say pretty safely for OSC, which I cast a lot of and work with them a lot. If people don't contribute to the Matcherinos, or if the Matcherinos don't happen, a lot of those tournaments don't happen, or it's significantly downscaled. So it's like the NPR, proudly supported by viewers like you.
But and all in kind of got a little bit lucky for a little bit, because there was a tournament in Riser. If Riser's still in here, was it Montreal that we sent Riser to?
Yeah, we did.
We had a tournament. All in had a tournament to essentially raise money to send somebody to a WCS. And so this was, a pretty big ticket item that came out of nowhere. I think the prize pool was over $500. And so that caught Matcherino's attention. They were kind of like, "Hey, what's going on, guys?" People run tournaments in a little bit, but so they were just kind of like, Boo, who was helping organize that. They sort of got in contact with him to sort of just make sure that everything went right. And so through that, that's how I sort of got my foot got in the door, or stuck in the door. But there was
that's how I got my foot stuck in the door.
He needs help. It's still there.
And I'm not leaving. And so I was talking to him, but there's documents that they have that are pretty easily spelled out, and they have support staff that is, they're actually pretty active. And I know their business doesn't run like a normal business, but there was sometimes pretty late at night where I had a question, and they're in with me, helping me. I'll admit I did some stuff wrong for the first one they set up for, and they're like, "Here, you got to do this, this, and this," and here's where you're missing this. I'm like, got it. They're all, very good for that. But so it's good. I'm glad that it sort of transpired as quickly as it did, because all of this sort of came about. I went from not talking to anybody to where we are today, and maybe they definitely have their stuff together enough so that I wouldn't say I was procrastinating. Everything sort of just developed very quickly, and that they were able to accommodate me. So it was great.
Awesome. Well, I don't know. I can speak for a lot of the community, but I know that we all get a kick out of this tournament. I know a lot of people really appreciate what you guys do, not just in this tournament alone, but what you've done for the community in the past, all three of you, and what you're still doing, and the fact that you guys are still doing it in a game like StarCraft 2 at an amateur level, at the level and dedication you're doing it. I mean, major salute to all three of you. Really, really appreciate it. And before I start kind of segueing into the end of the show, do you guys have any plugs that you guys want to throw in? or any other points that you want to talk about, like anything we left out that I may have forgotten?
You plugged me. That was pretty nice. Thank you.
Well, I was just saying, or Shazam, do you stream at all?
I do not. That's actually one of the things. I am very rarely on camera. So you could, use this, Duddles, as this is premium content that I'm on. I don't show up just for anything.
Thank you. Yeah.
I don't even show up for really uncommon stream, but yeah. So I don't really stream. As you can see, I saw that you followed my Twitter, and the only reason that I saw that is because my followers went from 3 to 4, and I don't know if you've noticed my tweets. This is my first tweet, and it's like me setting up my Twitter, which I never tweeted. Mm-hmm. They tweeted for me.
Right.
So it's when it comes to that stuff, I really am the background guy. But yeah, so the only thing is if people join that Pizza Pie Discord, that's probably where you'll find me the most.
Cool. Yeah, in the YouTube, I'll make sure that link is on there. I don't know if I can. I know. Right now, there's a lot of sex bot stuff going on. If you have open links in Discord, have you guys encountered that at all?
I have.
Not yet. Well, if we get big enough to where we have that problem, I'll be happy.
Yeah, and we can always update it if that's the case.
Yeah.
You guys hit me up and I'll make it happen. But we'll talk about that off the stream.
I did have one thought. Shazam, how long have you looked like a middle-aged Peter Parker?
I think you're talking about my handmade alpaca hoodie sweatshirt, which
I honestly it looks very good. I like it.
This is straight out of Ecuador.
Wow.
You should totally get that upside down YMCA logo put on there so you can be all in Paca.
You're welcome. That was my work.
Yeah, the design is Casey.
Oh,
We're-
I've been making fun
right
of
here.
that for a long time, but I like it.
Yeah.
It's just like it's definitely,
So I went through the design process there over the summer while I was working down in Fort Knox, and it took several iterations and several designers and yes and no and redesigns, and I finally get it. It's X amount of money, and we're getting it put on shirts, and then somebody's like, "That's the YMCA logo."
Tech 4.
Like
It was Tech 4.
not changing it.
Actually, not Tech 4. I know Tech 4 is
That's what I thought.
who I messaged initially, and I was like, the first thing I did whenever the logo changed was post a picture of the YMCA logo in your Discord, and I was like, "Hey guys, cool logo. Here you go."
Hey, it's now All In has a great dance associated with it, so win-win.
Helping youth, helping Starcraft players. We're there.
Yeah. I think there's like a song from the 80s or something. Like that's cool too.
Done.
I don't know what you're
could.
talking about.
Going to the right.
I think our biggest plug is tomorrow at
That's what I'm looking for.
4 p.m. Pacific, and what's that? 4 p.m., 7 p.m. Eastern.
Yep.
We're going to be doing the first kickoff of the Pizza Pie tournament.
Yes,
one.
It's the one to be at.
Yep.
It is. This is the most we've ever given out.
That's where it's going to be at.
Yep.
It's going to be
We're currently
great.
at
Stream.
$28.60, and I think
Perfect.
expect that to grow.
I hope so. But yeah, if you join the Discord, that's where we'll let you know where the stream is happening. You'll get, I definitely understand the ping thing. So I know that I made an exception for the Dank Shrine today, but you're really only going to be getting pings for, either the stream or the tournament. The only people who can even here and at everyone, you're looking at 3 of the 5 of them right here. And if any of them abuse it, I'm taking it away. But yeah, so that's solely the purpose of the Discord, is just to give you guys that reminder, because things get busy. There's so many times where like at like 7:05, I get messages and they're like, "Are signups still open?" Which unfortunately they're not. But yeah, so it's hoping to help with that. So if you ever are even thinking about playing, join the Discord and we'll let you know. Especially since we're going back to bi-weekly. Yeah.
As an adamant watcher, I'd definitely be really interested in checking that out. I think that's it, guys. I don't really have. I mean, I have nothing else. I could talk to you guys about so many other off-topic things for a couple hours, but not to overly tangent, and I kind of want to keep it as pizza pie as I can. You just make sure, check out, if you're watching YouTube, check out the comments, check out the description. I'll put all the relevant links in there from our discussion today, and definitely make sure and go support it. And by the way, if anybody watches this who's at like a pro house or something, it could be in Korea or whatever, and you guys are hungry, and why don't one of you just you guys just be like, all right, instead of practicing, hey Special, why don't you go ahead and hop on the Pizza Pie Weekly and win us a freaking large pizza or something real quick, well, I'll get a slice, but what, or maybe that could be
we'll figure out the specifics. We'll make that happen.
Yeah, I'll make it work.
Why don't they
100%.
do that for I'm thinking about, I know there's not like a house in the United States, I don't think, right? Like a pro house,
right?
Those have kind of really gone away for Starcraft.
There's one in Europe for TL, and then there's the Root Unity house in Korea.
Right. So if they bring on a new member who's like an up and comer, and they're like, "This is your hazing. You have to feed us tonight." Dinner's on you, and you have two options: either you're buying us a pizza or you're winning it. So here's how you get on it. I think that would be, man. If only this tournament existed, 5 years ago, and that was relevant. That would be just all the houses fighting against each other to
so cool.
We could make the new team league.
Yeah,
you're watching the rebirth.
Pizza Pie Team League.
It's instead of Pro League, it's Properoni League or something. I don't know. That was bad. Don't use Properoni. Oh, well, guys, I think I'm gonna kill it. Kill it here. Let's call it a day. Thank you so much for joining me on Dank Shrine. I'm a big fan of all three of you. Shazam, I you are the behind the scene guy, so I do know you the least, but it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you more.
Absolutely.
I think you guys are all great, and thank you so much again for being here. And I hope you guys had as much fun as I did.
Yeah, hey man, thanks so much for having us. It was a ton of fun.
Absolutely, thanks. Yeah.
Let me just really quick before I totally end it. I'm going to end it with a host. So let me see who to host. Is there anybody on right now? Does anybody actually play Starcraft?
Winner is casting a play, or by that I mean he's replaying his own stream.
Oh, cool! I should totally do that.
Can I plug one thing before we go off? Just if you're going to college or university in the United States or Canada, make sure to check out the Tespa Collegiate Series.
Oh yeah.
March for the spring season. I'll be casting it along with somebody unannounced, so it's gonna be fun. It's a ton of fun. Whether you're Grandmaster or Bronze, you have competitive matches. You get a portrait if you play enough matches and show up for your stuff. It's cool. You should do it. Tespa.org/compete. Thanks.
Cool, guys. Well, thank you all so much. I think this host is going to work. If not, it's going to go into auto host. So regardless, thank you guys for watching and being here. If you're on YouTube, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe if you like it. If you like the content, there will be more amateur to somewhat professional to. I mean, screw it. I'm just looking for interviews at this point. I'll interview a professional player or a commentator, I guess. But make sure to check it out. Follow me on Dank Shrine at Twitter, .com/DankShrine. And of course, I am Duddles, so Duddles1 on Twitter as well. Thank you guys so much again, and y'all have a phenomenal day.
See you.
Bye.